Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
And then I will share the agenda.
right now. Well, I will call the meeting to order at 6:02 p.m.
All
Roll
right.
call.
Chair Gina Olberding.
Present.
Vice Chair Maggie Burns is not present. Luke Curtis.
Here.
Kyle Davenport is not present. Alex Day is not present. Marie Hoda.
Present.
Edie Hughes.
Present.
Dina Phelps.
Here.
And City Council Liaison Chelsea Nunacamp is not present. Inglewood School Liaison Devon Williams. Thank you. And excused, we have Amy Wilson. Staff, we have Director Christina Underhill, Library Director Rachel Fewell, and from the City Attorney's Office, we have B. Meyer. And we are set.
Great. Well, as I announced via email, I am stepping down from my position after 1 whole month because I am the lucky new staff at the City of Inglewood. I'll be starting on May 5th. And so as a new staff person, I obviously can't be in this position. So that leaves the position of a chairperson vacant. Maggie is currently the vice chair and she's not here, but is there anyone here that would wants to step into the chairperson role?
I would like to nominate Dina.
Oh, I would like to second Dina.
I'll third it.
Right, okay. Oh,
Oh, I was gonna say, Dina, are you?
Yeah.
okay?
do we? Oh, you just had a side chat, but you convinced her to do this. Well, I think we have to vote, yes?
Correct.
Yeah, okay, so all in favor of Dina accepting the chairperson role, say aye.
I,
Any opposed?
you get to vote too.
Aye. Okay. Well, the motion passes. Thank you, Dina. Okay, the meeting is yours.
Congratulations.
Where are you going? What?
It definitely will help you along. And I,
Yeah.
Here, I got you.
and
Poor thing.
I do have kind of like a cheat sheet, you know, motions and stuff like that. I will forward it to you.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're stepping out so bravely.
Sorry.
Hey, hi, everybody. Thank you. Okay, we'll move into approval of minutes. Thank you.
I motion to approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor of approving the minutes from last month? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. It passes. Great. And us, it's College Street. Okay, do we have any public comment?
We do not.
Okay. And then we'll move on to reports. So first, our statistical report.
That's me to tell you about the statistics, and I made some notes, so. So I did mention at the last meeting, I'm gathering a data team together on the library side to explore how we can share this data with you in a more storytelling kind of a way. We haven't gotten there yet. We're still putting that team together and really trying to collect our data that we'd want to share with you, but really want to tell you more of a story with this data instead of just a spreadsheet that doesn't really tell you too much about our actual work. So I thought some notable things here was the meeting room sessions double since the last year. And so that's incredible. We are seeing a lot of people in using those meeting and study rooms. Our internet computer usage is up, which I think would be shocking to a lot of people in the community. There's still a lot of need there. I'd say our biggest digital divide need is really a public phone. So that's the big ask all the time, every day. So we're also exploring some options there.
Rachel, is that something typically a library would offer as a public phone use?
So we've noticed a lot of libraries moving to that model. When I was at Denver, I did install 4 public phones at the Central Library. They were well used, and I think our staff had a few initial like nervousness about that. But it really works well. Then you don't have patrons asking at the service points all the time for a phone, and it's separate, and we could make it, you know, a little bit more, I mean, not private, but a little set aside, so it's not right in the mix of all the library business.
Not everybody has the money for a cell phone.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
So
so
do you monitor time usage on that as far as like personal conversations versus calling to look into resources?
yeah, so I think we would obviously set up a little policy for how we would address it. I think it's works different in different places. Some places say 15-minute limit, some places are like unlimited unless someone's waiting. So I think we would probably just kind of take the temperature of how the staff felt to start it out and then adjust as we'd go.
Great.
Um,
If that was something that you decided to do, where would those funds come from?
Well, we're talking to IT right now because we are in the process of a phone migration. And so there might be an opportunity now just to jump in on their change.
good idea.
But if that doesn't come to fruition, we'd need to talk more about how we could implement that, what kind of phone we would need, all those things. But yeah, just something on the horizon, potentially. Volunteer hours also continue to be amazing. I would commend Hannah for that one as well. And then just noticed our children's programming numbers, bananas. So that's fantastic. We see so much interest and engagement with the community with those programs. And I did notice a typo that we'll probably have to fix, on total attendance of adult programs. I don't think we had 1,700 there, but extra number, Gary. Another digit thrown in. Those were some highlights that I noticed. And if you have anything that you noticed or questions for me about our statistics, please. Chat.
Next, we'll look at our budget. We still have $1,000. Are there any requests for the budget today?
You have any, Karen?
I know that, I really would like to use it for summer reading.
Yeah.
I think we just need one more.
Mhm.
Okay. I can tell her to prepare one request. And would you, when she prepares it, do you want it to be specific for what exactly, like the prize books? Or, I know that is probably her highest priority right now, is prize books.
I mean, I'm just wondering, in the past, divvied it out throughout the year, or has it been earmarked that like $1,000 is going to children's programs and there's not gonna be like necessarily?
We're trying to, I've heard it said different ways, and since I wasn't here last time that it was divvied out, I'm trying to understand completely. Do you remember, did she usually just say divvy it out in like 3 different installments?
Last year, if I recall correctly, about 400 of it went to like swag that you all used at
Right.
the neighborhood. Yeah, that kind of thing. And then like 600 or 500 went to Kimberly, and then the other 100 went somewhere. So I think it's more of
Staff
just,
appreciation.
yeah, I think it's more of,
Didn't some go to a conference?
yes, we like to do
Last year.
conferences too.
Mm,
Yeah,
Professional
Well,
development.
this is, Rachel and I can definitely work on
Yeah.
formally for next
yeah.
month.
I mean, it doesn't have to be like,
Yeah.
super precise, but
No,
More
I-
just,
but
yeah.
It's helpful for us.
yeah,
Yeah. If you all want to go complete, like Marie was saying,
yeah.
or do you have other stuff you want to
Personally, I
divide it up
thank
with
you for
in the dollar amount?
conference. I like doing the conference because I think that's important for right?
And like doing something you might otherwise not do.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Put together a proposal.
Nothing too fancy.
Okay. Thank you.
Right, we'll move on to new business.
Yeah, is it Thea,
B. Okay, here to discuss with us the resources and presentation on public meeting procedures. So I have some resources for you guys. This is a one pager that we're going to discuss, that everyone will get a copy of, and then this for the new chair of the board. It's an annotated copy with these changes written and highlighted for you. It's already in here. Oh, yeah, the slides have been hash. And all of you as board members should have also gotten your copy of Bob's when you started. So if you don't have a copy, let us know. I can get those to you. But what
No.
yeah. Okay, yeah, we've had that issue with a lot of our boards, so we can get a copy.
I will forward them out to everybody again.
Okay.
So everybody.
Then, yeah, what we're talking about today are the rules that Englewood uses for public meetings like this. The rules come from this, it's Bob's Rules of Order. It was published in 2018 and updated in 2023. And Englewood made an update in 2024 just to add some small changes and tweaks that don't appear in the published copy. So I am just here to update you guys on what those changes were. A quick overview of Bob's, like I mentioned, it is just the rules that we use for public meetings like this. The real goal of it is to help you guys run your meetings efficiently and effectively, so there's a lot of flexibility in it. You all have a lot of discretion in how you apply the rules. They're not like super strict. The goal is to help you guys, so there's a lot of flexibility in it. Good to be aware of in the actual books are appendices B and C. B has all the rules written out really briefly, just to refer back to quickly in meetings and things. And Appendix C is a table of all of the types of motions and points. So if you have a specific question of like whether you need a simple majority or a super majority on a vote, that is where you'll find that info. The main tools that you guys will get to use are motions and points. And motions are just used for any formal action that you guys want to take. And the process for all of those is the same pretty much for any type of motion you use. It has to be introduced and seconded. You guys all get to debate and then you formally vote on it. And points are used for smaller, more procedural or urgent issues that can be addressed pretty immediately to keep the meeting running. So something like a point of order, if you think the rules of the meeting. So just quicker things to address. And this one pager that we passed around is a little reference guide for you guys to use during meetings. It talks about that flexibility that I mentioned in Bob's rules, as well as some basics on motions and points. A motion that has been confusing for a lot of our boards is a motion to reconsider. It is sort of rarely used, but if you guys ever do want to use it, we wanted to provide some extra clarity. So you can use it to reconsider an issue that you already voted on as a board. And it essentially vacates that first vote as if it didn't ever happen. So it is time limited. You can only use it at the same meeting or the next meeting after you voted on the thing. And it can only be brought by a member that voted in the majority in the vote initially. So if you lose in a vote, you can't use this to sort of try it again. And if it is successful, it vacates that original vote as if it never happens and lets you guys discuss it fresh and put forward a new motion to talk about it. So this you would use like if new info comes to light or if you want to reconsider something you voted on. It also talks a little bit about executive sessions, which we'll talk about at the end, and some ethics points, the difference between an appearance of impropriety and a true conflict of interest. And the key difference there for you guys is that if you have a true conflict, you are not allowed to vote on a matter. You have to recuse yourself. You can't debate, you can't vote on it. But if there's just an appearance of impropriety, it is up to you. If you want to bring it to the board's attention and recuse yourself or still vote on the matter, you have more discretion in that. So next up, we are just going to go over these changes that Englewood implemented in 2024. As well with your book is a copy of the ordinance that made these changes, just for your reference. The first change that Englewood made has to do with recusal, with conflicts of interest, like we just mentioned. So in the original Bob's, if you're recused on a matter, you have to leave the room. But because of Colorado open meetings laws, we can't make you fully leave the meeting. So if you're recused on a matter, you can't vote or debate, but you can still stay in the room and listen to the discussion about it. That's the first change. It's pretty minor. The next one is also pretty minor. It has to do with closing debate. So under Bob's rules, if you introduce a motion, you get to speak to it first in debate. So you get to open the debate with it. And Inglewood changed it, so you get to open and close the debate. So you get to bookend the discussion on your own motion. This one, the rule doesn't originally exist in Bob's. The Inglewood change added it in. And after you guys vote on something, you can request that a summary of the debate that you had is added into the minutes. So just for your ease of reference later on, if you want to look back and remember what you guys discussed on the motion, you can get that summary added in.
Do we need to make a motion to ask for that summary, or we just,
Yeah,
okay,
and
so it's a new motion?
yeah,
Okay.
and you have the same flexibility if it doesn't happen perfectly by the
Yeah.
rules, it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can get that added in. The next one also doesn't exist in the original Bob's. It is just a new type of point that you guys can use. And it functions basically identically to the other points. It's just a different situation that you would use it in. So with the point of decorum, if you believe the rules of decorum are being violated, if someone is like yelling and being rude or calling someone names, you could use this point of decorum to bring the meeting back into order. So it's just used in different situations to like a point of order if you think a vote wasn't tallied correctly or something. Yeah, just a different situation to use it. And our final change has to do with motions for executive session. So these you guys can use if there's a matter that you want to discuss outside of the public setting of the meeting. So if there is confidential information you'd like to discuss, or something like confidential legal advice from the city attorney's office, you can request an executive session to discuss it in a private meeting. But you can't use this for anything. It's limited to what types of topics are appropriate for an executive session. And so the Inglewood change on this just lets you all debate whether you think the topic proposed for an executive session is appropriate for an executive session. And that is the last little change. So we will get those both out to you guys. And any questions that you have for us, please let us know.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
For Rule 22, the most recent one, when it talks about whether the matter is appropriate, is there definitions of what is appropriate in Bob's Rules of Order, like somewhere else that we can look at?
I believe so, but let me double check. I believe it's also specific by jurisdiction, so I think Inglewood will have its own rules on it.
Okay.
Yeah, it is jurisdiction specific. So I'll double check what Inglewood's rules are on that and get it back to you.
Fine, thank you so much.
And be feel forward or just forward it to me and I can forward it on to the board if that's easiest. Okay.
Sounds good.
And then can I make a request? I really like this little summary sheet. I wonder if this can be included with all new board member packets. Because I
Definitely.
think this would be, I think I said even last month, I was expecting, Robert's Rules of Orders, really strict and stuff. And so it was so nice to have a relaxed setting.
Yeah.
And so I think as a new board member, it's just helps to set expectations for how the meeting will be run, et cetera. So this is a great summary. Nice work, yeah.
Be you're welcome if you want to stay or if you. Well, I don't want to say you can go. You stay, just go do what you want to. Okay, all those.
Get a library.
Okay, moving on to old business, in update on the strategic goal.
We sent out a survey to all the board members. Thank you so much for those of you who engaged with that. A different version went to our staff to gather some additional information from them. So we got a lot of great feedback on the language of the strategic plan. Our consultant team is working on putting together a workshop for library leadership team. That'll be the first week of June. And they're also working on kind of creating the pretty package of the strategic plan right now. So we're kind of in that phase of using that information from all of you and our staff to really hone in on the language and then pretty it up and share it back out. So that's where we are. Yes.
Ask-
Oh, I don't know who can answer you. I don't know if the task force is meeting again. I will find out.
Need a new lead.
Yeah.
I can't be
I will check in.
Yeah, I was a liaison.
Yeah.
So my understanding was there were gonna be only 2 or 3 meetings, and there have been 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, yeah, I guess I wouldn't know didn't get the impression that there were gonna be others.
Okay, I will double check, and I know they are trying to schedule time with the board specifically and with city council, so those are upcoming. That'll be at least for this group, but yeah, the task force, I don't know, but I will find out.
And you're talking about the community task force, right? And I wonder if they'll send out that same kind of survey to the community task force, do you know?
I don't know, I think their last step was kind of coming back to board and staff.
Yeah, and the
After
last
that
meeting
input?
we had was looking at the mission, vision, and values.
Right.
We had already commented on that,
Mm-hmm.
and so it would
That might have
seem
been the
kind
last.
of like a repeat, maybe,
Yeah.
if something else was sent out.
Yeah.
From my perspective,
Yeah.
but.
And I apologize, I joined midstream, so I wasn't quite sure what was agreed upon and where we are in that, so catching up.
You're forgetting.
So do we need to decide on a liaison just in case there is a third meeting? Sure, yeah, great.
Luke, do you want to be that person?
I will be happy to liaise.
Mediates,
Or maybe a meeting, maybe not.
I like it. I like it.
I'm flexible, sure.
I'm good with that. I think that's just a consensus kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I would think so. And I'm sure if you can't make the meeting or something, we can revisit, and figure it out.
You like how I voluntold you?
It's all good.
See, it's eating a voluntelling people.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Edie, you're next. To be voluntold something.
Any other questions or comments on the strategic plan? Okay, we will move on to our next topic then, an update on Friends of the Library.
All right. So last month, we discussed reviving the Friends of the Library discussion that previously occurred. And I met with Alex as another board member who was just interested in kind of like having the discussion. We developed a bit of a checklist of, okay, what are kind of some next steps with this work? What was needed? We actually looked at the American Library Association. They have a packet of how to develop a Friends of the Library. It's a great resource. So we just kind of took a look at that and said, what are the kind of next steps? And Alex, I was gonna look at that, but anyway, was gonna update the checklist, but a couple of the things are to create a small, kind of a community group, community task force of just some interested people. So Alex and I just brainstormed who that could be. I gave some suggestions because I knew that, there were people that have been interested in that. So I think that's kind of the next step. And then also determining what is needed for the creation of the 501c3, because that is how then you would accept funds to be then used for the library. So Alex said, so because this all kind of happened in midstream in which I was hoping that I would be a new city staff, I said, Alex, would you be willing to take this on? And they said, yes. So we have kind of a shared Google Doc that I'm happy to share with the rest of you that just kind of has a couple resources in there and then our checklist of tasks and that type of thing. So that's kind of where that's at. And then I was just gonna gently hand it off to Alex as I step off the board. But I'm happy to continue, I think, as a 501c3 once it gets developed. I'm happy to, just as a community member, help to advise or, provide insights or whatever. I would like this to keep moving forward because I think there's such great opportunity to have a 501c3 associated with the library to, Yeah, have a water fill station. That's what I would like in the library, a water fill station.
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna vote for that. But like something simple like that, where we're not taking resources from anything else, but what does the library need? What could be really, something that would add value to the library. So anyway, I hope that moves forward, and I'm happy to follow up with Alex, and I hope this can stay as an agenda item, so it keeps moving forward.
My understanding was that, like, when it first came up, the board actually couldn't really be involved in that. Is that
That's-
correct?
That's my understanding.
So like,
That's-
can Alex still work on that?
I think it is just the Friends of the Library, kind of the standard for that.
Right. Like,
Um,
I think it might, I mean,
Yeah.
spitballing here, but it seems fair that as a board, we can support the
Well,
start of it.
that's what I
as
was
a,
gonna
like,
say.
Before it's officially a 553,
Yeah,
and then elect someone that would be chair of that foundation.
So the, what was her name?
Yeah,
That-
Leah.
Yeah.
Lee.
When Lee had attended the first time, or talked to the board, I had put together a list of like former board members and stuff like that and provided that to Lee. So I can forward that to Alex. And maybe that would help kind of maybe find somebody who's interested. I know
Yeah.
we did have a former member.
I forwarded emails that you had given us to Alex so that
Okay.
we had those resources, and we had a short little list of, because I even thought of Scott, Scott that used to be on the board, he has a passion for Inglewood. It's like, and then maybe even resurfacing and asking Lee if she had the time. And like, there were just a couple other people that we kind of thought on a
And-
short list.
Andy was very interested.
Andy was very interested.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there are other like small community organizations that
Yeah.
would be interested, and I
Okay.
really would love for you to help continue being involved.
Yeah, and I'm
because
happy
I
to-
think
Yeah, and I'm happy to do
Yeah.
that, honestly.
we can.
Yeah, and I would even thought that maybe if it was okay with Rachel, that maybe we would ask some of your librarians to, if they had a suggestion of a
Mhm.
community member or a parent or something that might have an interest in contributing, that you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because people want to contribute, but like, maybe they can't attend something monthly, but maybe they could attend something quarterly.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask your permission for that, and I thought,
Yeah.
so your teams would
Mhm.
maybe have a couple suggestions.
I don't, and anybody can tell me if this something is allowed or not allowed, but at one point I created a survey that just basically, that we were gonna include in a newsletter maybe, that just said, hey, there's some folks that are thinking about doing this. If you would like for more information, please submit your email on this form. So is that something that we're allowed to do or not to do? Does anybody know?
We might need to we have legal here.
But it was just gonna be basically put your name in the hat if you are interested in more information
Yeah.
about this kind of thing.
I think that seems, well, I don't know, I think that seems fine, because they're not committing to anything.
No.
But that's what Alex and I had talked about, like maybe having a short little snippet of what is this thing before, you know what I mean, and then solicit
And
some.
then we didn't know where like spouses or partners, of staff member fell in the being allowed to be. Else had that idea, is just starting.
Sounds
small.
like we need to write down some
I
questions
think-
for legal to
I think
research.
that's a great idea.
Yes.
Because I would also like to work with our legal team on a MOU then too,
Yes.
about how we'd like that set up and how our relationship would work. So I think that's a really good point to
Yeah,
get.
I think that would be helpful to kind of define the relationship from
Yeah.
the start.
So you know how you guys had talked about on your, like the due slip or something, that it would come, the total that they saved?
Yeah.
Can you add something on that? Saying, I don't know, just saying,
It does happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we just go through like Marmot, our consortium.
okay,
To build into it, so something that could be done.
I don't know if that is like,
and how many people really do
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
that?
To really look.
And a lot of times you do ask them, do you know what I mean? Would you like, your
I look at my-
your due slip?
But I don't.
think initially it seems like there would be some success if there were a couple, just 3 or 4 people, not a giant group, but 3 or 4 people that met, kind of outlined some tasks, decided how often to meet, just kind of got things going, and then, then decided what else was needed.
Yes.
So, I am fine taking that on if I can, because I will soon be staff at May 5th. I haven't looked at how many days that is yet. So my last day at my other job is tomorrow.
That's what we.
But I would hope that I could help contribute to that if it wasn't a conflict of interest.
I think so, but I'm not certain.
So I'd be happy to sort of continue just to shepherd that along.
But having something in the Inglewood magazine. Because the library usually has a
Yeah.
couple pages in the Inglewood magazine and something, a little article on that.
Yeah, I think the tricky part is that then it's a city publication. And then you're trying to grow something that's not, like, it would almost have to be, y'all would have to buy an advertisement space, or the Friends group would have to buy an advertisement.
It's kind of like running a campaign.
Keep it on.
Yeah, it kind of, and I think that's a good idea for, once the thing's established and it's like, what is this? How can you contribute? Then maybe do like a little bit more of an advertisement or a splash or talking with communication about what that looks like. I don't know that it's like a good recruitment tool because then things just get unwieldy with too many people. In my opinion, starting small with a couple thought leaders and then developing something that provides more concrete. I don't know, that just seems to me that it would, like, starting small. So I get concerned if it's like a big thing without knowing what it is yet. So I think we would keep that on the idea book or as it gets developed.
Are we clear on the questions for it?
How can we recruit for this focus group members
Yeah, who could be involved?
who may start a
Yeah.
Friends Foundation?
What can the library board
Yeah,
involvement?
yeah. What can the library boards, what can staff involvement be? Yeah. Where can we publish this? Yes, friends and family, yeah.
Literally neighbors who I know would be interested if y'all are forming it. I just don't know like what can my level of direct involvement, like recruitment.
Mhm.
So
So we'll check it out.
want to be about, what was the impropriety? The appearance of impropriety. Marker right there. Click your.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very excited for that because I know how much money gets left on the table when
Mhm.
the library can't accept donations.
That's right.
Okay.
Debbie, not to be sad, but would you adjust for our minutes purposes that it says member Olberding instead of chair Olberding?
Yes.
Ooh, I'm out.
Before staff's choice, we want to talk about the June meeting now
Mm.
and finding a new date.
It feels like that should be decided with more.
That's what I was wondering.
So we'll do it on the May agenda.
Okay.
What about the May meeting? Are we having a May meeting?
Yeah. June is just on a holiday and so.
Oh, it is.
On June,
What holidays?
Juneteenth. Okay, staff's choice.
Oh, am I up?
yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Wanted to let y'all know that we have been named the hometown hero for a local Girl Scout troop, and we got 80+ boxes of cookies. So,
Wow.
huge honor, all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's
Channel 7?
so heartwarming.
7?
Wow.
Not true. Girls are cookies. So all the donation cookies that they sold came to the library.
Oh, how nice. So that you can use them with people who.
Well, we're really using them among staff. It's kind of hard to distribute, in a container like that, so, yeah, we thought about it for a moment, but that didn't go far.
Yeah.
Oh, there'll be chocolate everywhere.
almost all gone by the time I.
Oh, were they?
Left with the
Back. There's a cutie picture of the Girl Scout troop on the good news from the city's social media.
Yes,
Check them out.
it is lovely.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Our team is amazing.
Yes, the children's team put on it, sorry. The children's team put on a really nice thing for them too, so.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you. So that was the best thing that happened to us last week. This week we are interview paloozing. So we have had 10 interviews this week for new staff members. We're hiring for 3 positions with those, and then Carrie's moving to a 4th position to hire with interviews next week. So
One more than the next.
and more the next week. So we have hired, we've hired 2 new library associates, part-timers for our adult services side. We have hired a new supervisor for our circulation team, and then we are going to be interviewing next week for a library associate on the circulation side, and then adult services supervisor the next week.
Has anything been internal?
Yes, we do have a supervisor who is internal. So really good stuff, a lot of good energy for our team, and filling up our schedule so we can staff our service points. Big goal. So that's really great. Tomorrow we have our library in service. Thank you for helping change the date. We will be doing a lot of team connection and kind of level setting on boundaries. So I think it'll be a really good day of refreshing ourselves and reconnecting with the team. And I'm excited to spend the day with the team. And then we're closed also on Sunday for Easter. So 2 closures right here. That is it for me.
Christina, do you have anything?
Thank you to those who came out to the Hop and Shop last Saturday. We had a huge turnout. I think the numbers are coming back around 2,500 people. It
Wow.
looked super busy. So thanks for coming out to that if you made it there. And then just a reminder, on April 26th, it's a Saturday. In 2 weeks, we have Earth Day out in the circle at the Civic Center from 10 to 3. So come on out to that. And hopefully the weather's nice. This weekend doesn't look so good, but next weekend we're good. So
Good.
thank you. That's all.
Sidebar question. Yeah. Devon, does he go during staff? We usually, board member choice. I usually ask Chelsea and I ask Devon.
Excuse me, I was the former coach. Sorry to chair, so. You were like 2 ago.
I'm old news, sorry. All right, board members choice. Anything for the schools?
Yes, actually, so I have a really long list because it's May, so. Here we go. Sherilyn's barbecue for their PTSO is gonna be on May 1st. Clayton's art show is on May 8th and May 9th. The Gifted Family Night is gonna be at the middle school on May 8th from 5 to 7 p.m. also. And then at our board meeting on the 6th, we're gonna be discussing the IGA with the city in regards to the neighborhood announcement signage and the attendance that are gonna go on in schools. So we're taking public comment there. And then as for the middle school is gonna be having a community picnic on May 13th from 5 to 7 for all families to come and celebrate the transition. And then upcoming, we're also going to be establishing the Inglewood Middle School Advisory Committee, and there's going to be more information to come about that. And then this is also my favorite time of year because of the graduations happening on the 17th at the same day. They're pretty much 2 hours away from each other. As far as time goes. And then those of you that have interest in running for the board, because there's 3 seats that are open, will be opening. On the 20th at our work session, we're going to be having a board member interest meeting. So come and join us for that. And I think that pretty much covers it for me for now. Yeah, a lot busier.
I have one thing, and I'm sorry, I don't know if it was talked about last month, but with Earth Day next weekend and then Celebrate Inglewood, are you guys having a library booth?
The library team is joining the Parks PRLG crew. And so Hannah's going to be there talking about the induction birders.
Just let us know if you need like volunteers, like people to come help and talk to people about
Okay.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Library cards.
And just kind of sometimes send out signups to the board members at different events. So even like neighborhood nights, we're starting to talk about neighborhood nights in the school. So we might recruit some of you.
See, you don't have to worry about like, especially if the library's open at the same time, you don't have to worry as much about staffing.
Appreciate that.
Get help.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's in the circle out here.
Yeah. both of them. I think Celebrate was on May 20 or May 17th.
May 17th.
Yeah. So just let us know if you need help.
I just wanted to give a warm appreciation for Gina for all of the time the last couple of years, and so glad we met you, and thank you. I do hope that someday you get to make an announcement at the library on the library speaker.
Wouldn't that be great?
I will, and
I appreciate that, you know, and February was my 2 year, so I'm just over 2 years, and it's been wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think it was really the start of me knowing that not only was Inglewood my place, because it's been my place, but like that I wanted to be more involved very thoughtfully, and so just propelled me, and now I get to be part of the staff. It's just tremendous, so thanks.
We're excited to have her
Mhm.
join us.
Yeah, that's great.
Anybody else have anything? Go Dina. At 6:43.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thanks, Christina. Take care.
Christina, it's
Bye,
nice to
bye,
meet you.
everyone. Feel better.
Get
Yeah.
rest.
Boss.
Will do.
Go to bed.
Okay, okay, okay.